Okay, so this is the Shiloh. We have a young man in the Midwest America who decided he wants to do Kyiv, and he lives in a town where there's no Jewish bakery and no kosher bread to buy. So he has two bakeries. One of them is you just sell bread uh, without any frills, just bread. And the other one, amongst other things, they have these things and blanks, right? Hot dogs in covered with dough. It happens to be these are parva. For the sake of the show, we'll say that they're and kosher. Yeah. Okay. Some of them, any sticking out with the sticking. Yeah. Bring it here, sticking. If it's not sticking out, so there's no fat. If it's totally covered, then pass no shame. But again, like they're making thousands of these, or at least a lot, right? You mind if I hold it? Yeah. You know, one sticking out. Yeah, truth is, I mean, probably they're all sticking out a little more, a little less. Anyway, so that was the Shaila, and it goes into the nitty gritty Reika. Like I said this morning, like one of the big miles of a tshuva is that it forces you to get Gedorim, which you might not have necessarily been forced to do if you hadn't been asked the Shaila and written a tshuva. Okay. So first of all, we all saw the sugi here in Psachim and in Avodah Zarah, Psachim Dabai and Vav and in Avodah Zarah. And next to this, basically three pitas, yeah. Um, the Rod Totos here brings that the Timat or Letchila, Record was Letchila. He has a question from Sheep Psachim. He's Medaik and Rashi, and the Isra is only sorry, that it's mutter b'diavad. Let's deal with matter. And then you have Rabbeinu Tam in Avodah Zarah, who was learning from that sugya of Bastia that really makes awesome. Take on most Rishonim, Rashi, the Isra brings a whole list of Rishonim that are passing like that. That's the Makaber and the Rama seem to be going like that. The Latchila are going to be Makam for it. What does it mean that Latchila are Makam for it? What's Latchila? What does Latchila mean? So I saw a very fascinating machlokas between the Crazy Placy and the Greek Kaddish. Yeah? Okay, let's see, I could probably tell you. It's not on the sheets. I just saw it this morning, but I'll read you what they say. The Greek Kaddish says like this. The launch of the Ramoy is, see Paskins, also lechem cholo, im yesh lo pas acher. So the tick of the Ramoy is, you can't eat this bread. You have a bread that was cooked in an oven with franks and blank, or whatever, with meat, Jewish, maybe with, not Jewish, Jewish. According to Ram on the Rif, that's all. I'm always going to pass me inside, sorry, Zion Gimel. But, so, there's a little bit of a deal here that the pre-Kaddish was sensitive to. So, it's beginning with to be all the bread. So, they're pre-Kaddish, no. It's not Mechur, right? After Elo Pas Adler, it's any of the bread. Yeah? It's not. Shay Eshaloch Oblicha. Yeah. Who was it? Mary Antoinette that let them eat cake? Yeah. What? She never said anything. She's reported to have said. Right? Just like George Washington never said, can't tell a lie. He said lots of that whole story is a lie. But the point is that what does it mean you can't eat it with milk? Eat it with plain. Well, Don Sagal says a story from the Brisker Up. Someone came to him every people and they needed something done. No, if you went to a government official, every company needs something done. And the guy says, it's Erev Kippur, any Yachol. So the best person says, ain't a set. He went back 3 times, but it's fence, right? You don't want to do it. If you want to do it, do it. We can't eat it without cheese. Just eat it without cheese. Right? Order a simple bakery and eat it. Like, what's the problem, So that's what he says here. He says, and he finishes off here. He says, and that's what the Taras Chatas writes. He says, it would love dak here. It's lav daka. What's lav daka? It doesn't mean if you don't have bread to eat with cheese. It means you can't eat with cheese. That's it, finished. So, latchila means, right? Latchila is if you have bread, then you can eat with cheese. If you don't have bread, then you can eat with cheese. Too bad, right? Pluck, as they say. That's the pre-Kaddish. The crazy place has a slightly different mahalach, I think. Right? The Pri Chodesh is saying that he's made tzaddik in the Ramah, right? And the diak is that ain't low pasak, then you can't eat it with cheese, right? But if you do have, right, if you don't have pasak, you can eat it with cheese. So says the equation, it's not a good deal because the might say, even if you don't have bread, you can eat with cheese, right? Even if you don't have bread, you can eat with cheese. You still cannot eat it because that's called latila. As long as you have bread, you can't eat it. That's called latila. Latila means you have some bread to eat. You're going to starve. Latila means you're going to starve. Starve. If you or not starve, you don't have bread to eat. Having bread is like starving, basically. Well, lechem yichyah.
You can never eat them with
But that's called that's not you. You need to have enough bread. If you have one slice of bread, that's not called you're allowed to eat the bread. Right? But if you don't have, if you have lots of bread, you don't have bread that can eat with cheese, you can't go to a goy and buy from him. What?
eat the slice of bread. It's got that. It's cheese.
Whatever. Look, we're not looking for eights over here. We're not looking for eights. It's in a desert without any water. He only has a piece of cheese and a bread. Yeah. Right. Or pizza. Right. So, that's what the Pri Chodesh says. Comes along the crazy, and he's a little bit upset with the Pri Chodesh. Yeah. And he says like this. He says, Fugabra, they ain't possible. He can't eat just bread. You tell a guy, just have a slice of bread, okay? In yeshiva, they would just serve bread in the morning, bread and water. Yeshiva's possible lechem. Remember in Torah's Moshe when we were in on our official. So once Elosman, they decided ripping up the floor. We were redoing the building. So we're in a big space with a giant pit and dust all over the place. And the first day it's fine, they come in and they gave a schmooze. And they said, space was not everything. Why makes matters with dust and things? And sorry, do it. Fine. Some cake on the table. But the point is that the crazy place is no, that's people not having bread. Continuing with cheese, that's limiting your bread intake. He says, or alternatively, says the crazy, this is in Sivkot Vav, just like the Pri Chodesh. He says, you have cheese and you have no bread to eat it with. That's also called B'diyan, right? So limiting your life, limiting your life, that's called B'diyan. Yeah. Cool. A lot of people are allowed to eat this bread. Right? A lot of people are allowed to eat this bread as long as I have some eating need to it. So, okay. So for our Shaila, according to Kaddish, forget about it. Let's not talk about this guy. He wants to have bread that tastes a little better, serve a kira. It's just gonna say that's or don't serve them bread, or let's make cake, right? Quite so crazy is what talk about. Limiting my right, limiting my responsibilities. That's included in the left hand. Not to eat it with cheese, or not to eat it with not to or not to have something cheese. That's our starting point. Okay, so that's very hard to very hard to okay. So now I think we can do it. Okay,
It's after sharing the whole stuff.
we're saying halacha
I understand. This is like some crazy place out here.
it's no halacha. First, I want to go through the Dalvani. We have some very important nakudas to talk about. What's that?
The fellow was saying you don't need to eat to a meal.
Yeah, and you don't need to serve them the better bread,
That might be cool. I'm correct. Even the colors.
What?
The colors must be that.
But it's bread. It's bread. To make it netter, you can't eat bread. Can you eat first bread? If I make it netter, and I can't eat bread, can I eat the first bread? So it's bread. Yeah. One second. So, but I want to eat cheese. I can't have to eat cheese. That's even more. Okay, you say hello again, but myself. That's what the thing I do. Okay, nice. Want to write me a chew? I'm ready to see it. Okay. So the thing is like this now. The we have some kudos. Lamaisa, my Kavus asking the following Shaila, right? My Kavus asking the following Shaila. He asked me like this. He says, the points of Ram, we'll get to it, but about Hashem, where we learn what's the Makolim, the Ram and the Rif, both Paskin, the cooking, if you baked bread, it's meat. It's called fleshik for this purpose, not just if you baked it with Ganela, right? You have to treat it with fleshik. It's a getter of Davar Sheish Matirin, right? So why are we machman reicha? We're not machman letchila, not we're not. Right? Lamaisa, the we're going to see here that both the Agra and the Maril bring here, and that's the short source of the Ramah, right? That if a person doesn't have bread, yeah, and only goyim are selling bread, right? If he has bread, let's he can't buy from them, even though Lamai says, but yeah, but they baked it already, right? So we see from here Allah, right, that that even though it's already done, even though it's already baked, you can't eat it, right? That's by Rachel. But by Napa not, calling Macabre for sure, you're going to Ramah, if it's already been cooked. Yeah. By Napa not, the Macabre's yeah.
How speaks this out? Sure, that is not well. Why is the beauty evident? Going over here says that the cheshbon of this Ramah is totally on saying that that rib is not normal.
Yeah, with the Ram, the Shulchan Aruch is a steer in the Shulchan Aruch. Just one second. Forget the Ramah for a second. Yeah? I'm asking a question in the Shulchan Aruch now. Yeah? The Shulchan Aruch is makel by not, right? If I cooked, can let kilo cook spaghetti and a fleshik. Yeah, put cheese in it, right? And I can do that latchila. And certainly if it's been done already, right? But if a goy makes bread, yeah, it's done already, I can't eat with cheese. One second. Sorry, one that's the wrong one.
Having in Beis Yosef is that more medical than the Alcor.
No, wait, one second. No, one second. The Machaber Paskins, yeah. The Machaber, one second. The Machaber Paskins, not for nice winter. And he Paskins on side that this thing is, you can't eat with cheese. Yeah.
Disagrees with his whole together and he says that it goes already days.
What the hell did you
He says l'chafila here. He's on the hook. He's right there. It says l'chafila means that you shouldn't be thinking. So we're not the you're in patterns. You manage that side. That's it. He's also himself with the
Okay, so what's the answer? Yeah. So what's the answer? An answer we could suggest, yeah. And you'll see that the Middle Yaakov is going in this derech, yeah. By knows the of Gam. The answer is that what is Reich itself goes over? The Achronim talk here, the Prima God, this is Hasim so they talk about it. It's just not their ice, you know. It's like it's in a top picker. Right? You know, if you had a mic, you know, if you had like Google glasses and you could see particles in the air, a recha, they're tiny, tiny particles, like our blessed ones. When you breathe in, you're breathing in a million bugs, right? But it's mutter because you know they're microscopic, you can't see them. Right? So they're microscopic particles, right? There's a little bit, let's say, of hooker dover because you can smell it. So Latchila, we're going to treat this like Isser. And B'diavad, we're gonna be makel. But Lamaisa, there's mamashos. There's what the right phrase like it's a minute amount of Isser b'tikuno, right? So Zanav Larayas. It's a tiny particles, but it's sorry. The not bar not we're gonna see those in Talmud Gamut. So is something already that's been transformed, right? Or not, it went into the Keli, came out of the Keli, it had two transfers, yeah? It was maybe a little bit nifkam in the walls of the Keli as well. Lamaisa, we say we're not going to have a close and bus on that anymore because that's kind of tough problem, yeah? But Lamaisa, when we're dealing with Reisha, we're dealing with something which, according to Ravina Thomas Usser, it's mamash, we answer, yeah? But it has a buster on it, yeah? Mashikin, these other things are a second level, not by not, pogum, and now we're going to see the more Mako. Okay.
Now I'm Deah.
What? Nirgash, yeah, Nirgash, with your senses. And we saw when we learned about the Terry masks, yeah, that there was a shot there, first in Chicago, Tynan. There's no taste, but the smell. The smell gives taste. Smell gives something taste. Okay. So now, well, I said that's one shot. Right? That's one shot. Lamaisa, the Maril and the Augur are saying here, yeah, is that this pas that was baked with, let's say, nevelas or dreyfus in a goiza, right? So even though it's already done, it's baked, it's here, you know, no issa was done, they're allowed to do it. Again, that's still called not to eat. I'm not allowed to eat it. But just there's no other bread I'm allowed to eat it. So that's what I'm trying to clarify today. The getter of the heter of Deah, what's the getter of the heter shaft of Chag? And why is this different? Right? As the Rebbe Yaakov points out, and I brought this here when I'm going to the right. Yeah, the law is Vashel boy. You're allowed to eat. Yeah, so Vashel, what you already cooked in a goy's keli. Yeah, and it was either nose and talon. It was nose and talon of cow because in that certain situation, right? She allowed to eat it. It was cooked already. So that we say that's called b'diavad. It was cooked already. I'm allowed to eat it. But over here, we're not. So I asked him in Yaakov, yeah, Lord, that was here, right? Why did by Rhea it's already been done from Machmer? Look, we should call that b'diavad, right? When we see that by Devash, it's called b'diavad. Something's already been done. It's called b'diavad. So it comes along the Mitzvah Yaakov and the Prima Gun posits like this. Halacha Maisa, yeah. He says the Gamai Hammer be pass. Now lechem yichiad yesh lasos harchaka tfei. You have to make a harchaka. The kiyag have a baruch. So we find that past more machmer. Okay. So now we have a new getter here. We have something which latchila we're machmer for. Right? That's what we saw from Rov Rishonim, past psak of the Shulchan Aruch. Lamaisa, in the normal tlolim, that once something's been done already, it's called a b'diavad, right? And we see that by Tvash, that's what we call not to buy it. By Pas is different. That's what the Mitzvah are going to say. Pas is different. This is different. You have to be more machmer by Pas. And Lamaisa, the same rush that he's coming from, which we brought here by the Tvash, so the shot of Hes brings it as well. You're not allowed to put trays of bread on the table, because also alecha yichyada. It seems to change things over here. It changed things over here. The reason we're more mashma says the Prima Gun over here in the sip, in the Ramah, that Latili can't buy the bread from the goy, even though it's been ready. It's called lechiyafiyah. So what's Tosaf door? What's going on here? Okay. So I went to a lot of chuvas yesterday. There's a thing called Billy Hashad's, Rabbi Yosef Engel, and he brings like 50 marmakolos on this Shas document. The Evidami and Ravani has many, many chuvas that talks about it. I'm trying to get a feel for like what's the getter of the Heter B'diavad and what's the getter of Shas and when do we say B'diavad as we because the same Shiloh for one person is Mutter Latzchil and one person. Someone first told me that when he went to Chicago, right, Moshe told him what was what was also Latchila in New York is Mutter B'diavad in Chicago, at the time. It was just starting community. But you have to know everything. The most important role of Allah is what? Does anyone know? Okay, that's different. Okay, that's the most important clause. If you want to deal with people, if you just want to deal with, machines, you could get away with that. Okay, so Lamaisa, we found this tshuva from the Chos Yair, very interesting tshuva. Yeah, he's talking about a case where the shochet wasn't around, and they're only going to have like meat that's been salted a few days ago. So they're not going to have fresh meat. And I had once a Russo, as far as the shochet, he said, unless you have eaten freshly shechted meat, you never had meat before. He said, if you would eat this meat, you would like this meat, yeah. Here we are. Yogan's going to shed a lamb, B'ez Hashem, for the show. What? Okay. Anyway, so if you look here, so that was the Shaila. Can you get a guy like you never really checked before? He knows the lachas. No guys like no. You checked before, no? Yeah. Okay. But you get a guy like he learned the lachas in yeshiva, and he learned more, and he figured he's going to learn the lachas, but he never checked it before. Can you get this guy? He doesn't have what's called like sav krita. Yeah. So says the Hosea, he was matter. It's very interesting. He was matter if you have to fast and give back afterwards. It's like when you put your tefillin on, you say Baruch Shem Kavod. So I don't say that bracha, so I don't say Baruch Shem Kavod. But Lamaisa, it's like a little weird. I'm doing an Avera and then like, okay. So you're allowed to do it for Simchas Yantiv, but you have to fast and skip talking afterwards. But Ben Ashoros here, he says in bold here, he says, why is it mutter? Shuderech mikra lotar. V'yashar lem lahasig basar b'nin acher. Ulukvod yantiv kibid yevenav. Ki mishloshtem mitzvah ki mishloshtem matzino v'kama duchle shekil. So that's 3 tanaim over here. It has to be a mikra. It has to be a mitzvah. It has to be yashar. Right? Okay. So yeah, should we spoke about mitzvah to move on? We're gonna be on making for a mitzvah. What's this tonight of Derek Mikra? It's Derek Mikra. Start with the Chofetz Yair saying like this, and I think that was very good. The what?
We in simulation science, we find that once once the evaluation actually wrong about so tender, which is grounding and show, but doesn't have a good trust, it automatically uses the tender against all of its use.
Right. So what's ridiculous? Okay, so maybe I'm going to tell you a double pasha. It's pasha not pasha, but I think it's really important. Yeah. John's like this. The world is going to say heter, right? They always say, it goes from one time heter to like the Mekubelas, right? Rav Moshe Sternbach told me there was a town in Europe where they wanted a woman to go to mikvah, was a Panuya, and indeed the whole town wasn't from, you know, because once you do it once, yeah, so then everybody does it, and then comes on kavua. So in order to say something is mutter be evid, what the Kos Yar is saying, and Rabbi Goodman is bringing a nice backup from the Rishon and Zion, the Ramah. It has to be derech mikra. It has to be. It's not going to become a naga kavua. It's something which is like a one time. Yeah, it's one time. So it's a one time thing. That's not going to be a naga kavua, right? So then the Shasta, well, not Shasta when he gets that, but the Evan I can be making in such a case. Yeah, yeah, I can make a case. Right. So Maisa in Kana Madvar, I want to suggest like this. Yeah. So is that clear? Like, it's clear enough. No? Rabbi Goodman, it's pretty clear enough. Yeah, okay. So I want to discuss like this. So what's shot by bread is worse, right? Let me get beyond. The shot is that by bread, you can't really make something which is a one time getter, right? Because since people are so often eating bread, right? And you're going to be mad to them to eat this bread from the boy, right? It's by definition going to become an hungry for, right? But people only bread. So you can't worry out. I mean, I suppose you could find some sort of mikra by bread or something. They made the 20-foot long pasna for the Rebbe pasna, and pulled something out of it. So maybe that's called a mikra. Whenever you see this cloud, right, with Alecha Yihi Adam, like in Beches, on the table or this, it's something that bread is so much a part of our life. Alechem Hivianam, by definition, it can't be bigger, right? In most cases. It's not bigger because they're not. Again, these people, they don't have bread. Or the guy in his town, he doesn't have bread. Yeah, so what's he gonna do? He's gonna buy every week from the what's it called? Well, the Franks and Blanks butcher. Sorry, bakery. Yeah. So Lamaisa, that is the problem over here. We're going to be making a dinner abonin. And that's shot what the Maril and the Agar is saying, right? We're only going to let you be mat. What that's just the middle Siakam means the Prima Gun. We're only going to let you be matter if it's already done. Yeah, there's no other bread, right? Because that shot's cock. Well, okay, but okay, that's already the next step. What? What are they talking about? They're talking about the goy. The goy's making bread. It's bakery. That's still there's no other way to buy bread, right? So it's a situation. The case for the miracle is no way to get bread.
Find the night that the quantum
One second, wait a minute. Right?
becomes
There's no way to get bread. So
how they open. That's because I'm just
again, I don't know if you heard at the beginning of this year, crazy and Placey and the Miklanish. How much are we going? We didn't make you make your own bread. We don't say, you don't find that. You don't find in Hilchos Masakum or this.
access to
We have bread machines and ovens and this, you just turn it on. It's so easy to make your own bread.
how.
What's that?
So I'm thinking 500 people.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. Okay. In any event, right, it doesn't matter, bakery, not bakery thing. He's going to go ahead and meet next door neighbor. Right? It has to be, by the way, a bakery, because otherwise it's awesome. That's all essentially the question. You can't own it's not about right? So it has to be either the guy next door has a bake shop, he's selling bread, and maybe that's like a very wavery answer, or there's a store. It's out of town, there's a store, and you don't have enough bread. So you can buy bread. Problem is, we don't want to do this because it's going to become a hundred cool. Everyone in town is going to start buying this bread. Okay. Okay. So that's Shlav Aleph. We understand the first part of Ramon. But then Lamaisa, Mamanashach. So why is Shas Chak Mutter? Why should Shas Chak Mutter? It's going to become a hundred cool. Then let's make sure we're fine. So we really said the answer already. Like the question really is the answer, right? Sheil Tzvachim Ketzi Tshuva. Because the Shas Chak by definition is a davar mikra. Yeah, so Shas gets a situation, and everybody knows. Yeah, if the Rav Avadia's chuvas, most of them are about Akuna. It's against the Rabbanan, Shas al We're gonna make it. You're gonna make it by Akuna. Doesn't mean we're gonna make it in every single case. Yeah. So Mela, if we say a kula, right, by Shas al so that's another shlag. And Rav Avadia says this lashon. I think that's what he means. If you look at this Jew inside, he says, "The timeline Shas al Yesh Lomar. Halo Bray. Okay, so we don't have to go into the exact question here. He's talking about davening. He says, "V'ayin shus Yaakov im Omer Omer Hari Amru Shas L'Chakid Yevet Ami B'Chok B'Dinyan." Maybe it's only Gid Yevet. It's a little something B'Shat Tzedak L'Tequila. Go with Yevet. Zein says Rav Anya. Shebehepes Shas L'Chak Odin B'D Yevet. It's much better than B'D Yevet. Yeah. Teda Shai B'Sat Tzedak Somkin Al Yok Yochid Makar. Right? I heard Swas really told me, I said, what do you give a guy a tofacha if he's doing something wrong? You know, tofacha, you mention it to him, this, if he wants to, you tell him. He said, if there's even one shita, mukubelas, to be someone, he's doing something according to a shulchan or according to, what, to be someone, you don't have to give him tofacha if he's not the type of person who's going to listen or wants to listen. Balance, yeah.
Well, that was when you come to you.
What? No. If it's doing something awesome, mamish, yeah, it's a deraisa. You have to tell her. It's a kiyov. Even if he punches you on the nose, be a look, all right? But okay. But lamaisa, so we see there were more makel by Shatzdak, even so on a das yochid, right? V'lo matinu b'shas poskim sheis mokal yochid, mokal right? The Shas L'chach Odesh Mivdi'eved V'chein Mitzvah Alma. Okay, right? And I didn't bring the Shuba, but Rabbi Yitzhak Chanan has a case of a get. Oh, sorry, it was a case of Yibam. There was a woman who was talking to Yibam. There were two brothers, right? One of them was like very, very sick and come on, goses, and the other was 2 years old. Yeah? So Yitzhak Chanan says, like, there's a din. You're supposed to wait 3 months after the husband dies. Oh no, to be fair, he says, but if the guy dies, then you have to wait 10 years to get married, 11 years to get married, right? So that's a chance of vidiyat. Yeah. So the mela will be megal on a din derabanan. We'll get rid of the din derabanan for this case of shasachak. And he brings a raya from our yeah. He brings a raya from the Shemon, and they can do that. In other words, they say,
They're all going on their phone.
it's still right, still. Because he has been shown to be so much as well. Yeah. But he's been starved at it's right. You see that something, Shas and Chag, we can take something where there is makom to be skan because machlok is Rishonim. And we're allowed to do it, allowed to wait for it. Yeah. But Lamaisa, you can think, if it's not, that's a shot. Because a Shas and Chag is not going to, one time you let a woman, I see lots of Jews about the Shaila. It's interesting. It seems like it happened quite a lot. But it's not going to become a hundred kavod that people can stop keeping a kana 3 months because of this. But they know this is a special. They know that this is a special situation. Okay, of course, it's also because it's shat and chak is very serious. But lamaisa, the getter of the half of shat and chak is going to take off the dash and it's going to a zilzal and another kavua because of that. Right? Okay, so.
Conditions you mentioned in order to be with yourself. In order to
He said three things. It has to be a davar for a Torah mitzvah or a davar chotem. Yeah, there's some rubas or Shabbos. That's number one. Okay, that we have. Right. It had one. The second one was where to go. The second one was. The second one was. Iyach Shalasi. One second. Oh, and the third one was Derek Mikra.
yeah, we were asking most of
Sorry, mitzvah. Sorry, God.
and the best
Yeah.
and the Shabbat.
Oh, sorry, God. Don't try to listen to me in shots of chak necessarily.
And also make all when there's room to be making, but
Right.
when the kilo we say us when there's small pickle and you have these
Wait,
things.
so that's what I'm saying. What's the pshat in there to make right? So it should become on a haga kvua. But we see lamaisa, even something which we're not willing to make over the ebit, like the case of the bread. Yeah, lamaisa shots can't make them. So what's the pshat? I'm saying shots because move on. That's not going to become an haga kvua. That's the exact situation. Shots back. It's not going to go from being. It's not going to become an haga kvua with shots back. When we see Ravad is saying, we see that we're even more making shots of chak. Someone can das yochid, or what else do we say over there? Um, other things that we're making with Jasafak, right? Aguna, he brings lots of different things in this. So Lamaisa, that's going to be together, right? Zika Madvarim is that something which the getter of the answer is we're allowed to and b'diavad make right? Lamaisa, as long as it's going to be not become an agak flow, which is most of the cases. So b'diavad, we to it, right? The honey, all the other cases, everything else except for bread. The problem with bread is it's the spot shade. It's going to be all the time. We have to buy from this, so we're going to let the be. Yeah, we're not going to let you be makel because not the maker is going to become an akua. Lamaisa though, if it's a shas, we go back to the ikra din and we say shas chag. You can't be mafkin, you will be mafkin. And the mela will let you be makel in the case of shas chag. Yeah.
If the posek then told the rabbi reading here that you can only do it once, not that you'll never buy there again, and what do you do?
Right. Well, let's say he's making a shavaton for chefs. For the 10 biggest Jewish chefs in the world, and they're going to come and eat this lousy bread, and they're going to say, "Oh, I don't want to be Jewish." Maybe that's called, something like that. But it has to be like, it has to be like very clear that it's like Levinas Daiti. So that's why I think Levinas Daiti, I don't think, even according to Gracie Placey, I'm not sure that this would be, because sometimes you can still get bread. You have bread, you have bread, or maybe these people won't even eat bread, or something like that. So I personally don't think at this point yet you can make on such a chocolate. Because again, what's going to happen, right, is that he's going to buy from the bakery, and these people come from, and they'll all start buying from the bakery. It's going to be coming on before. Let me be on you. So you have to be very careful with bread, because it very easily becomes klo, which is probably the same thing with the riots, which Sternbuch said. If you're matter women to go to mikvah, then it's going to go very quickly, turn into an haga, turn into an haga before. So you have to be very careful. They said the galus of Reb Chaim was he could think 20 steps ahead. Yeah, right. These was all Hamorais and Nolan. He could see like what's going to come out. If you say it's like, I just this week's a dead. So the shot about turning off a gas flame on Shabbos, right? Somebody wrote to me from Lakewood. Since the rub now, this matter turning off gas flames on Shabbos. So what are you doing? There's no plumbing, there's no balls. Well, like what's your thing? So so I looked into the sugi a little bit at sugi. What? Hallelujah. Really, Torah's fine. He says Lashon Hara. He doesn't believe someone said it. But I spoke to him as real into it. He said it's an old child. There was somebody who was matter in there. It's child putting the camera, the whole thing. But how do you learn a speak in Beitz, a Chof Beis, right? And there's an insert to take Shemin out of Mishal Hametz because it's going to Amayit Mishal Hametz, and turning off is turning Amayit Mishal Hametz. Do we say that that's included in the getting? So those are very hard questions. I remember Shiva once, Shik said, that the Rabban is so hard. Says, what would the rabbi say today if they were around and you asked them, can you turn off the gas? To me, it's Pasha. They would say that's included.
That's your help. Shows what the
But the question is, right, so how do you understand this? Is it Nichol in the Kana or not? They only were both trying on this and this and this and this. Okay. So he said that's very hard to know. Yeah. The answer is to Amayim B'Shel Heavis. So I'm taking the whole Shabbos away. You know. So, you do find sometimes that it's not Bislal, or the Rajva with Bleach in a darklish stars with Shepherd. You do find there are things which we say they weren't goes right, you know. But you have to be really big to say that, number one. But number two, you have to realize if people start turning off their gas on Shabbos.
They're not even going out the Shabbos.
What? Right, so you have to know you have to understand where things are going. What's going to be fine, like with the mikveh in the tunnel. Yeah. Okay, but it's finished. We're worried from this. 2 years later, no one's from. You have to understand. You need to be a real chacham. Yeah, and that's Hazel. Let's say Hazel welcome someone no shots. Yeah, Hazel welcome somebody like who has EQ of very high EQ or IQ. This is not a person who sees the Nolan. He can do something and understand like what's going to come about from that. Yeah. So Lamai said that's a very big That's right, really the chelik of Shabbat. But to understand where it's going to go, and Chazal gave us certain gedarim for it. Right? They gave us certain gedarim. Saying today, two gedarim. Number one is, or three gedarim really. Number one is b'diavad, latfilah b'diavad. Yeah, usually b'diavad when something's mutter, b'diavad will be matter, but not like pas because I'll let them read together. Even in such we normally be matter b'diavad when we say latfilah because it becomes a hundred. Then shasat chak warming. What?
It's interesting when it was actually in Shabbos, it says the opposite.
The what?
Now,
Yeah.
discussed Shia Isser, and virtually everything is also except for this. It's like that's it. Yeah.
You do no. It's not the opposite. You find that this lechichon is used la'achar la'achar. It's not the opposite.
You're not automatically more tolerant.
Right. Sometimes we have to be makel, right? Because you have to eat. So you think so, but at least here, like I mean, this din, and you have to see like each case how it applies. But at least over here, so we're going to be more maffer. So I want to share with you a very interesting shaila, which I saw that when Daniel asks. Yeah, I will finish up with that. Right? And whoever could answer this question is really problem. I'm Roy Sonola, but you can think of it. I don't know. You got a title. The title. So let's get a title. 50 shekels also. Whoever can answer this question. You have to bring a proof. Yeah. Right? So the Chumuri Daniel asks like this. Yeah. He says, Lamaisa, this bread, right, that you bought from the Goy. In our case, yeah, you bought the bread from the Goy. I can eat it now. We need to know what cheese. Right? In other words, the bread was cooked in an oven with franks and blanks or veil or spot. Just 1 second. Very slow. Yeah. Um, it's not. It's really a question in Tolator and Kula to answer this question. Yeah, you really have to have. You have to really be a. Yeah. Lamaisa, right? So now we're saying you can eat it with meat. Right, sorry. We're saying you can eat the bread. Right? It was cooked in an oven, a big oven of a boy or a small, not going to be matzah eating it. It was cooked with pig or meat or whatever. You can eat it, right? But now you can eat it with cheese. So the child is like this. On one hand, we can say, well, latchila with machim frecha, right? B'diavad we say it's mother. If b'diavad on matter the meat the nevela part, so let's matter the bottom part. So it's letting you eat with cheese, right? This bread that we now in Sif Aleph that we matter to buy from the boy, yeah, can eat with cheese now. Right? So one argument would be that he it's no problem raising it, so yeah, however you think, right? But the other side of the argument is no. Lamaisa, we know, at least according to the Ram and the Rif, what the Shulchan Aruch Paskins like inside his eye, yeah, that conversation material. So look, the part of the meat part, of the goy, you have no way around it, yeah, because I can't eat the bread. But the cheese part, so eat it without cheese, right? Makes pretty much sense, eat it without cheese. Why have to do with cheese? So those are two stuff. So then we'll have hang on 1 second. Oh, and Rav Shalom and the Das Torah brings even a third twist on this. He says, what if in the oven of the goy, he had meat and milk? Like a Jewish oven also. So meat and milk, and with bread. So it's this bread. However, milking, fleshik, both like eat this bread. So yeah, Rabbi Harris, you have an answer?
The shop mostly say that I was just concerned with visas because it was not like cases of failure and stuff still only to the number so can even in a situation where it's part of the struggle of the young, where still some fearing or still about feelings. No,
It's a good raya. The other question is a little bit different, yeah? Because over here, Lamais, the same exact raya, which is mutter. There's only one raya here, right? It's meat smell, right? So that meat smell has a duality to it. It's nevela and it's meat, right? Okay, so now there's a shaila. Is there a plus mechallah by nevela? Anyway, 1 second. Just want to deal with him first, right? Lamaisa, once I'm matter it as meat, because once I'm matter as nevela, am I going to be matter as meat as well, right? Over there, it's a little bit different. Over there, we're going to be makel, like whatever you can do. If you wait till end of Yomos, we'll say wait. In other words, it's a separate nakuda there. Right? Let you be makel in the blias, but only if you wait for the end of Yom. Right? It's not going to here. There's no time. There's no time to the sasha. That's what the way it says. There's a time to the sasha because it's either mutter or it's mitzvah. Right? Like which shusha. What by the Kayla?
I think I don't know.
Is it meat or is it meat? It's a there to me. Not really. How do you say?
Sometimes that's right. Since we didn't like business and everything.
It's not sure.
If you're relying that it's not necessary, so you should also.
Yeah, what did you say?
One, maybe you want the shots register for yourself design. But you're like, yeah, I'm not in. Into make a big focus on. It's not only use that thing, it's not make picture places without it. It's not, but it's not money. Which means
Yeah, but only if a Jew makes it, not if a goy makes it. Oh, you found me all? You say?
yeah, it's any privilege from mathematics that doesn't touch it. Most might hear
Yeah, but that's by fleshig bread. It's also true right here. Very.
this right here is so
We spoke that out. It's not so clear. It's not so clear. It applies to it. Okay. Any other? Any other? Yeah.
we need calculus. We limit, we finish, we limit what's typical in our case. And we close our eyes to the svara, and we say, we don't understand it, like we do everything else, just because of the present law. And we don't let it just, even though we have similarities, let it go. Let it be like that, it's in the intuition. Kalal is key where our crucial. Close our eyes to it. We still respond. So you know, looking seven surah, one up, the Veda on one up, must be followed, so it couldn't distinctly start. So anybody else who say, if we're saying we're being moderated by one, we have a precedent movement, close our eyes to the
The same exact issue. What's the precedent? Show me one.
this
The same exact issue.
anybody else who should.
But show. Give me a case. Give me a concrete case. Think about it.
Anybody else who should.
Give me a concrete case. We're gonna mother something in one respect.
If this is involved,
But show me. Give me one case. Give me one case. I'll let me be right. I can't think of a case. You say their cases. I'm not saying their cases. You're saying. I'm saying I don't know of a case. I thought about it. I didn't find the case. We had a case by Caruso suggested about making a hefsek tyre after davening Meyer. Yeah, right. So on one hand it's night, on one hand it's day. It's a machlokas. We're showing them over there. Yeah? So we're showing them. I'm so on the Mekillah to daven at the coastline. But Lamaisa, yeah, but there you're going and actually doing something. So we're machma over there is I'm going and making hefsek tyre after I daven Meyer. Right? But over here, here the shot is that maybe I should just not eat it with milk. Right? That's just not milk. That's what it's saying. Well, so where do you see that I can say something mutter and the same exact thing is us? Okay, so we have it here. Yeah.
maybe you could suggest, let's say, I can see a little bit out there, have say that something that's higher, yeah, if it's 59 of higher, it's go out, that's a cluster, that's a fill, then it's time
Smart.
about. So maybe it's say the same thing in Rachel. Then if the higher is go out, Rachel explanation, it would use the middle of Rachel, also something about the line. If
Right.
you have 60 of the bread with the milk, and you have to say the meat, then it would be about.
What do you say?
I mean,
In the case within the city itself, which suggests it's
Oh yeah.
just in the focus and right fish that was used. The first one says that can't eat fish with milk. Second one says that can't eat it by itself, because there's no sense of fun.
Right.
And the first part is even this third quality and apparently how it's at least one depends on no, and then he has a slide. That's
see it.
the first number is so second.
Who says second of America? Maybe what's the I think such a
This quote carries on the show. So no, this seems to be much of us that the Canadian mission. No, it's not. Whereas the shot the bottom where there it seems like there are those it seems like there's a bunch of those are the same stuff.
that could be that the Gidri Sakana are different, You find it's a bit of a Shisha Sakana, maybe there's no you find it's kind of different. Okay. But I would say not yet. I would have to ask on Balamas. But to me this was like very hush it that this would be the right answer. Is that if you tell this guy, you can eat this, but don't eat it with cheese. He's gonna be like, is it meat or is it not meat? Is it I once from a boy You're telling me that he cooked it in the oven with me is not a problem, but I can't eat it with cheese? It's a milsa tmiya. It's a milsa tmiya. It's going to get people confused. It's not a healthy way to be madrik someone. So I'm going to ask you a shayla.
Yeah.
What? You see such things. You see milsa tmiya l'rabim. It's a milsa tmiya l'rabim. It's something. It's something. What? I go. This. You look at my children and you're in Torah Shabbat. There's things which you don't do because people won't understand that. You can't give a raw. The Gemara is in Bechoros, right?
What's the example?
What the Gemara said they didn't let Rav Meir be mad to Bechoros because people wouldn't understand it. Yeah, because they.
What? They didn't think about.
Inami, but the din of Milsa Tmul Rabin implies Belach Hako Belach. Not understand it. He was such a genius that people wouldn't be able to get what's wrong. We're talking about you're not allowed to give a psak that's too. The Amrit Neil speaks out the side. It's a target the sasri. You're not supposed to give a hara that's target the sasri because it's just going to get people totally confused, and they're going to come to me. It's going to come. It's going to.
Frankly, the sauce is a can't admire for
Right? Why not?
every single
What? Therefore, and therefore, like them to get up here and explain it to me. But probably they can't. Yeah. Like one of the problems, yeah, if you learn the Sugya of Torah Sasvi is that it's the way it looks. Yeah, it's going to get people confused. Yeah. People, when you give a raw to somebody, yeah, if it's going to come out and kill them from that's a problem. Yeah, what do you think?
So you this real time accessories. So you have the appearance of accessories.
Right.
Remember, I said again, like, including it's probably accused of that. There's no problem with something. That's not what he's been doing. Goes like this. Here, basically, it's called the act of flat. What is it supposed to be? There's no buildings. It's a transference.
It's that. Oh, it feels so. Well, mine says here. Well, let's see with the end, right? You're gonna. So when people are very dark from the Israel over here. Well, let's. We're not we're left here. Yeah. So one, and we're making with the Evid. Once we're making with the Evid on the Israel, the Mela, yeah, right. It's more kasher for me to hear that we should be machmir on that. Yeah, because like I understand, Rabbi. The Nevela is mutter, but the meat is also like what's going on here?
So that
Doesn't make sense. What?
we don't this concept
Right.
being learned from that.
Yes.
Pirates were such a genius. Then
Nobody. There's many. Look, I have many cases. One case was being more to somebody they could take a bus on Shabbos. Or Moshe is about taking a train on Shabbos. Okay. There's no issue, but people are not going to understand. They're not going to understand. What?
that's again being said. You need a report to say it.
Yeah, but here it's very different. Yeah, because Lamais it's a davar mutter. This is a case of the Evan. It's really be mutter. The question is, are we going to say? So with the Florida, you can say we're not going to say that. Yeah, but the end because it's not going to be more. So it's going to be called. It's ready. It's a number of things. What?
Deah, it's possible to keep one with it. And if I keep this homework and that homework is nonsensical, you'll have seconds, it makes no sense. Which is business.
Yeah, look, I told you. I said you have to ask it. We have to ask Kevin Bell. But he comes out with no hurrah. Nicely, Rav to the Brown's Mako. Yeah, he says by the bread which he baked with no inflation. No, but so we treat it like parva, right?
Didn't follow Ulcer and Hollow with Buster.
No, but you're making on the meat and you're making it on the milk. Yeah, so just eat it parva. Why should you eat it with meat or milk? You could still be not eating with meat or milk, so why not? It's clear that he would be making in this case as well. Yeah. So we have a riot from Daster. We have Daster that it should be mutter. And
Not for the reason that we just
what?
not for that reason.
The what?
Not for the reason that it's common.
Lamaisa, that's what it is. I think you have to see what he writes when he writes all those. What? It's a svara, right? Lamaisa, the question is, so why is it mutter? Why is it mutter? Lamaisa, though, he's um, the it's what I'm basically saying is that Tarti the Sasri, I'm just giving a story of the Tarti the Sasri. Right? Why should we bother by Tarti the Sasri? You said it's not Tarti the Sasri. You're saying it's Tarti the Sasri, right? Say I'm not this is Tarti the Sasri. I'm saying it's Tarti the Sasri because the way it looks is it looks like Tarti the Sasri. I mean that's gonna get people confused.
That's why not this yes, make them be bound.
What?
The issue with
Not Dafka, no.
they're gonna end up not
No, it's not true. What you're saying, you have to look in the Chazon by Avshin Milsa. Yeah. The Chazon says there's something which people are not going to understand. Yeah. What? Something which people are not going to, people are not going to understand it, and it's going to lead to
it's also
build.
stands as a thing.
Right.
We see every arms out there.
And also, you could argue that'll lead to kulas. Making people be machmer in areas that the mamish can't understand. That's a steer. Will make lead to kulas because people will just.
Yeah, they'll be Mizal the whole thing. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying it's going to. He says it actually. I take it back. It's chuppah fluid. That's the thing. It's chuppah fluid. It looks stupid. And maybe that's like a very pushness for. Okay.
Shkaya.
But yeah, like you know, doing this.